Greece has been rocked by fresh protests after the death of a teenager a week after being shot by police. The 16-year-old Roma boy died of his injuries on Tuesday.
It sparked demonstrations in Athens, where at least 30 people were detained following clashes with the police. Our correspondent Evangelos Sipsas reports.
Demonstrators took to the streets in the Greek capital of Athens following the news that a 16-year-old Roma boy succumbed to his injuries after spending over a week in intensive care unit following a shooting by a police officer in Thessaloniki. The demonstrators demanded justice and chanted "Down with police brutality" before being met with heavy police presence. The protesters start gathering in the early evening hours of Tuesday with a planned march towards the Greek parliament. But by late evening, as the crowds grew, around 1,000 police officers faced protesters throwing rocks and bottles. Roadblocks were created and garbage cans set on fire. Officers used tear gas and flash bombs to try to disperse the crowds. Around 30 people were detained, with one protester suffering light injuries. Protests led by the Roma community, Greece's largest minority, have been taking place in cities across the country since the incident occurred. The 16-year-old boy was shot during a police chase after he allegedly drove away from a gas station without paying. A 34-year-old police officer is expected to appear in court in the next few days in relation to the teenager's shooting. After the death of the boy was announced, the charges have changed from attempted murder to second-degree murder and manslaughter. Meanwhile, Roma groups are calling for restraint, while anti-government protesters are calling for increased protests. Evangelos Sipsas for CGTN, Athens.